It's still Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In the last video, I talked about the financial abuse to which parents like me are subjected by children like ours. Children who have what researchers call callous and emotional traits, what the DSM calls conduct disorder, and what I call psychopathy spectrum disorders. In this video, we'll talk about the systemic cherry bomb that gets heaped on top of the shit sundae our kids serve to us before the system lights that cherry bomb on fire. Hi, my name is Lilith Quillen. I'm the founder of Parents of Children with Conduct Disorder. I've been supporting parents just like me since 2014. When I tell you these stories, please understand this isn't about my family in particular, or the psychiatrist's family, or any other individual family. This is a lens through which to view all families dealing with this. Remember the psychiatrist from 2 videos ago? The one whose son tried to kill her twice, once by poisoning the orange juice, once by bludgeoning her while she was sleeping? The one who took her own life because the system failed her so completely? Let's really dig into the financial abuse to which her family was subjected by the very systems meant to protect them. This family started out owning their own home outright. No mortgage. They had college funds for all 4 of their children. The mother, who was the psychiatrist, was the breadwinner. They had savings. They did everything right. By the time the system was through with them and the son confessed to both murder attempts, the surviving spouse couldn't pay rent. Had to sell their electronics just to survive. All 4 college funds? Gone. The house they owned outright? Gone. Their other 3 kids can't go to college now. They're staying home working to help provide income for the family. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Poof! Gone. How does this happen? How do families who do everything right end up bankrupt? The courts kept mandating expensive therapies that didn't work, kept charging huge court fees. And here's the really fucked up part. Even though the parents were the victims of domestic violence, they had to pay the fees for foster care. Foster care fees were more money than the surviving spouse made each month. The courts even threatened to throw the surviving spouse in jail for non-payment, even though they knew the fees were more than the surviving spouse made. In that state, if a nurse gets thrown in jail, they lose their nursing license. Think about that for a second. The system was about to knowingly destroy their ability to earn any income at all, just for being the victim of their child's violence. This is what I mean by systemic financial abuse. We treat victim parents like perpetrators. We charge them for being subjected to abuse. The very systems that are supposed to help families like ours bankrupt them instead. Child-to-parent violence is domestic violence. The psychiatrist's family were victims of domestic violence. Instead of helping them, the system destroyed them financially and charged them for the privilege of doing so. Let me tell you about just some of the ways the system bankrupted my family. My son got caught shoplifting. Twice. A candy bar one time, a t-shirt another time. Both times he never made it out of the store. Both times they recovered the items. Both times the items were completely saleable. They could put them right back on the shelf. Each time, $500 fine. That's $1,000 total for 2 items that never left the store. Items they got back. Items they could still sell. Items my husband and I didn't even steal. $500 for a candy bar, $500 for a t-shirt. Then there are the costs when they end up in juvenile detention or jail. At the time, we paid a $7 fee every time we loaded money onto my son's account just so he could call home. The minimum amount we could load was $25. That's $32 to make $25 worth of phone calls. Fees like this hit the poorest families the hardest, the families who can least afford it. Then there are the vending machines in the visiting areas. You can't bring outside food in, so you have to buy from the vending machines. Crap food at inflated prices. Again, these costs hit the poorest families the hardest. Not to mention the toll that junk food takes on these kids' health. Families like mine are forced to give our kids crap food every time we visit. Then there are the monthly fees for probation, monthly fees for being on an ankle monitor. Plus there are all the copays for the court-mandated therapy that doesn't even work in the first place. The gas to drive to all these appointments, bridge tolls for those of us who have to cross bridges. The list goes on and on and on. Nickel and dime, nickel and dime, nickel and dime, over and over and over again. Let's talk about Nikolas Cruz. You probably know that name. He was the Parkland shooter. He was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder as an adult, so we know, theoretically at least, he is probably one of our kids. His mother called the police on him dozens of times. Dozens of times. She was trying to get help. When she took away his Xbox for not going to school, which is what a parent should do, he threw her up against a wall and called her a useless bitch. He threw her up against a wall and called her a useless bitch for being a good parent. During his trial, and his mother was dead by then, so she wasn't there to defend herself, a mental health professional testified and blamed the mother, said she didn't bring Nikolas to therapy as regularly as she should have. During cross-examination, the attorney asked a really important question. What was the mother's copay for each of those sessions? $87. Let's do the math. In a month with 4 weeks, that's $348 a month. In a month with 5 weeks, that's $435 a month. Over a year, $4,524, and that's not even including gas. Who has $400 just laying around to light on fire every month? Who has $4,500 a year for therapy that isn't even working in the first place? The mental health professional was sitting there blaming this mother for not bankrupting herself fast enough, even though she had to sell the family home in a short sale in early 2017. She got raked over the coals by the court system, even though she was dead. Her health, no doubt, made worse by parenting a child like Nikolas. Now, let's talk about restitution. Restitution amounts are a joke. They don't actually help the victims. They're just another fee to charge families who are already drowning. In my last video, I talked about how we paid $200 in restitution for a person who was harmed. Meanwhile, another family in my support group was charged $2,000 in restitution for a little bit of graffiti their son left at a park. How does that make any sense at all? How is a park bench more important than a person? $200 probably didn't even cover that lady's emergency room copay. It didn't cover her physical therapy. It didn't cover her emotional therapy. It didn't compensate her for her injuries. Yet somehow, a park bench is worth $2,000 in restitution when the restitution for a person was $200. Since when is property more important than people? This is the pattern. Families are subjected to abuse by their children. Then the system treats those families like perpetrators, charges them fees, fines, court costs, mandates therapies for their kids that don't work and cost thousands of dollars, puts children into foster care and charges the victim parents for it. We financially bankrupt families who are already morally, spiritually, and emotionally bankrupt from the abuse they've already endured. I haven't even talked about sibling abuse yet. The psychiatrist's son was hurting his siblings too. That's another video for another time. But understand, the other children in these families are also victims. They're also suffering, and the system charges their parents for that suffering. Who has hundreds of thousands of dollars just to light on fire? Who has $1,000 to pay in fines for a candy bar and a t-shirt that never left the store? Who has $4,500 a year for therapy that doesn't work in the first place? We don't got this. We can't got this. We don't got this. This is why we need early screening. This is why we need to catch this before families are destroyed, before hundreds of thousands of dollars are lost and college funds disappear and families lose their home, before parents die, before children become school shooters, before people outside the family die. This is why we're organizing a strategy session on screening kids during the early intervention period, before any of this starts, before the financial devastation, before the system gets involved and makes everything worse. If you want to help make that happen, email lisa@disordersofaggression.org. That's LISA at disorders, DISORDERS, of aggression, AGGRESSION.org. It's also in my bio. We don't got this. We can't got this. We don't got this. But you can actually do something about this.